What's up, everybody? Greetings from Badlands National Park in South Dakota. I stayed in Rapid City last night, got the bike fixed, got my new chain put on, had to wait a while. I was there for a little over 2 hours, but they kind of were squeezing me in when they otherwise didn't really have much of a opening in their schedule, as it were, so can't really complain too much about that. Let's see. So yeah, I'm in Badlands. I was hoping to camp here, but the ranger at the entrance just told me that they don't allow campfires at either of their campgrounds here. One is down this road 12 miles. I'm not so sure I want to do 12 miles on this gravel road, but I want to see some cool stuff like this right here on the left. What the hell is that? It's so weird because rolling into this national park, you'd have no idea that there's anything interesting around. It's like it's just like open, like, I don't know, prairie. Let's see what's over here. And then all of a sudden you come through the gate and you turn right on a gravel road and you're looking at this, which I don't even know what the hell this is. But anyway, yeah, not so sure about the whole camping without a campfire thing. That's not really how I roll, unless I absolutely have to. She told me there's a couple of campgrounds just outside the national park that she does not know their policies on fires, so that might be a thing, but otherwise I'm going to just roll through and check out this park and be on my way. So I decided earlier today, I've gone like off the grid for a few days as far as Facebook and all that stuff. It's just getting to be overkill, so you guys should feel special. I'm still doing this, but I'm not Facebooking or any of that texting and nothing. I told my family I'd keep updating my position a little more frequently with my spot tracker, just so that they know that I'm okay and safe and all that, and have a general idea of where I'm at. But anyway, yeah, so sometimes you just got to take a break from all that nonsense and kind of detach from everything. And you know, of course, I've been pretty detached on this trip all around, but maybe not as much as I should be from time to time. So this is crazy. I don't know exactly what I'm looking at here. Like, I don't know how this formed. It's weird because out here it's at like grass level. It's just completely like that everywhere, like for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles, and then all of a sudden there's this like big hole in the ground. Strange. It goes far out there too. I don't know how much the camera's picking up, but pretty crazy. I'm gonna look at this map that she gave me and figure out if what else might be interesting down this gravel road. Gravel's not really a problem on the bike. You just can't hold a whole lot of speed, and I don't know. My tires are getting a hair low on tread and stuff, and well, I say a hair low. They've got about 10,000 miles on them. The front is in pretty good shape. The rear is starting to kind of smooth out a little bit down the middle. It's still in good shape, but all that to say that I don't have a whole lot of traction nor a whole lot of protection from, you know, sharp rocks and stuff. So, although this is pretty hard packed stuff here, this is not really a problem. All right, well, I'm going to take a look at this here map, figure out what's what, and we'll see what we see. Badlands. Cool name. Alright, yeah, I'm going to skip this the trip out the gravel road. It looks like it pretty much just goes straight out to that other campground, which is about 13 miles from here. And, you know, like I said, there's no campfires allowed, so even that right there is like, I'm out of here. But even if there were, I'd have to go. I still don't have. I don't have any. Well, I don't have not no water, but I don't have enough for camping overnight and all that kind of stuff. So that is not really on the agenda. This is the main drag that goes through kind of the heart of everything. We're gonna check it out and see what I can see, and then hopefully maybe just camp right outside the park on the east side. If those places allow campfires. They had a huge storm last night. It's not so much about being dry right now as it is, I guess, the wind is what they're worried about. So it's like it is what it is, bro. Hey, this place is crazy. Some of the like stuff out here is just wacky. It's like it's not like anything I've ever really seen before. It looks like sand almost. It looks like piled up sand. But there's all kinds of colors in it and stuff. And then there's like grass everywhere. It's weird. This place is weird. It's kind of cool though. I was reading somewhere that a lot of eagles hang around out here, like flying around. You can see eagles flying over your head. That would be most excellent to catch a glimpse of an eagle cruising over. It's funny. Once you get out and like kind of travel like this, you come into a place like a national park or something, the idea of just pulling into these overlooks with all the other people and like standing there looking out at the same thing as everyone else is like, it has zero appeal. It's probably the best, you know, quote unquote, the best views in the park or whatever, but I just have no interest in experiencing it like that, you know. It's funny, this entire trip, I mean, I've been on the road now for, as of right now, I've been on the road 103 days. Look at that. So crazy. As of today, I think I've been on the road for 103 days. Anyway, I've been on the road for a while. And, I kept kind of wondering, like, am I going to have this, like, life-changing epiphany? Is this going to turn into, like, a life-changing trip for me? You know, am I going to change or whatever? And for, like, up until recently, like, I didn't really feel all that different. I mean, you know, maybe a slight shift in, like, priorities and stuff. Just kind of what I feel is important and what's not nearly as important as I previously thought. But recently, the past few days, I'm really starting to feel like different in some ways. I guess along the same lines, really, like what's important to me and what isn't, and just how I want to live my day-to-day life and how important I feel like it's going to be to cut out some of the ridiculous distractions that I've allowed myself to get way too wrapped up in. Things like Facebook and stuff, you know, like I don't know. I see it's like a double-edged sword, because that's like my primary means of keeping in touch with so many of my friends. Not necessarily my friends in Tampa and stuff, but people I went to college with and stuff that I mean, you know, it's not like we're gonna get a big giant like email chain going, you know. But doing the whole like constantly checking the phone and constantly checking Facebook, it's like it's become somehow somewhere along the way it's become this like habit. Wow. I am gonna whip in here and just kind of share this with you guys for a second, because look at it, it's amazing. You can see out here to the right, it's like all this like crazy rock formation stuff. And then down on that prairie, it's just like flat, green, some crazy like little mini canyons and stuff. This place is crazy. This place is crazy. Really cool. Anyway though, so yeah, it's like somewhere along the way Facebook became like this like really strange like addiction, you know, like a habit that you like, at least for me, like, you know, I wake up in the morning and like immediately reach for my phone and I'm scrolling through fucking Facebook. Like, why? It's really not that much interesting happening there anymore. If it was just all my friends like posting what they were up to and kind of what was going on in their lives and stuff, that would be awesome. But that's not what it is anymore. It's like now it's completely cluttered with superfluous jibber jabber. Things like, which celebrity boyfriend are you? And which superhero are you? And people just sharing news articles that they think is important, or it's some kind of snide, like, I don't know. It's a bunch of junk on there now. But for some reason, we're still like cruise in there and check it all out and like get wrapped up in it. And I just really kind of questioning why. Because when you detach from things like that, I've done in the past, like, you know, take a week or two off from it, and you really start to feel different, you know, like primarily, for me anyway, when I'm not cluttering my brain with a bunch of junk like that, I feel like I get a lot more creative, and I get a lot more like productive, just in all aspects of my life, you know. I don't know. So it's, yeah, I knew you were going to just try to step right out into traffic. I don't know. So it is what it is. I'm not claiming to have all the answers at all. I don't even have all the questions. But, I don't know. That's where I stand right now. We'll see if down the road, if that still holds true. But like right now, I'm really enjoying using Facebook as a way to document my trip, kind of like this channel. Like I check in a lot, and I post a lot of photos and kind of just updates on what I'm up to. And I'm not going to stop that. But I have this feeling that when I get back home and this trip is kind of wrapped up, I may be the end of my Facebook. At least using it in any kind of day-to-day manner. I may keep the account so that I can stay in touch with some people and stuff, but you know, I think it's going to probably be time to take the app off the phone and, you know, refocus on enjoying life and not trying to prove how great your life is to other people. I don't know, which I'm just as guilty of as anybody else, I'm sure, you know, when it comes to that kind of stuff. Although right now my life is better than a lot of people's, probably. At least a lot of people would probably think that. I would probably have to agree. But this certainly is not the norm. Anyway, alright, philosopher mode off. Awesome Badlands appreciator mode back on. I'll bring you guys in if and when interesting stuff goes down. This place is pretty awesome. This place is crazy. Have I said that already? It's just so strange to see like what looks like very desert rock stuff. You know what I mean? I've been surrounded by desert the past couple of months. Like, it's crazy to see that, but it's like in the midst of like the greenest grass and like stuff ever. You know, like It's just crazy. I dig it. I like this place. It's so like unusual. It's so like unique, you know. I mean, I've been to a bunch of places, and they all sort of, even the national parks, you know, some of them, I mean, like the Grand Canyon, right? Like, there's no other canyon that it's that big, but it, and not to take anything away from the Grand Canyon because it's awesome, and I had a great time there, but it's a canyon, you know what I mean? And like there's a lot of canyons out there, out that way, along the river and stuff, so it's like, yeah, the Grand Canyon is way bigger and way more immense and stuff, but it looks like a canyon. Like arches out there in Moab, like you know, some of the actual arches are kind of neat, I guess, or whatever, but the national park sits in a huge area that also looks just like that, you know. It's not like a major difference from being outside the park and being in it. But this place is like its own thing. It's like I'm sure there might be other landscapes like this elsewhere, but this is not like anything I've ever seen before. Oh, I had a kind of a scary situation just a minute ago and a turn. These tar snakes are kind of everywhere out here. Most of them just go directly, like, kind of perpendicular right across the road, no big deal. But man, I hit one back there a minute ago, like that, like totally like shook up the bars, and like my front wheel, like really like was affected, and it was creeped me out there for a second. They can be a real pain in the ass, these tar snakes, when they're in the road. The ones that, like these that you can kind of see, like this guy here, the ones that just go straight across the road are just kind of an annoying little bump. But when you hit the ones that are kind of going in your direction of travel, they really fucking can send like your front wheel like kind of all over the place. It's not a big deal if if you're going straight, unless you get some really big ones. It's not a big deal, but you hit them in a turn, it can definitely get a little hairy and yeah, kind of shake your confidence in the turns a little bit. At least for me, anyway. That's how it is. Alright, well, I just stopped for gas before getting on the interstate here and heading east out of Badlands, and I had two different people ask me, hey, did you go through that swarm of bugs on the east, out east? I'm like, no, I'm heading that direction. So apparently somewhere out here, and neither one of them could give me a very accurate answer, somewhere out here is like a giant swarming cloud of bees. One of the guys was like, I went through that in my car and all of a sudden, like, couldn't see anything without using my windshield wipers. There were just bees everywhere. So I don't even know what to make of that. We'll see. Alright, so I've got my plan. This is going to be my position if and when I fly through a hungry cloud of bees. Thankfully, I've got this Madstad windshield bracket that allowed me to kind of crank the windshield up and kind of vertical and forward and kind of high. So that's going to help out a lot, and I'm just going to tuck in behind it as well as I can. And I got the Go Cruise throttle lock holding my throttle in place, so I can kind of just grab the bars down here behind the cowling and tuck in and hope for the best. We'll see what happens.